Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of Make It So. I am Seth here from Game That Cosplay. Dezzy's a little busy at the moment and not able to join us. She might join in a bit later. And tonight I'm going to be working on Qrow's sword from RWBY. And I'll move my camera real quick to show you what all I've gotten done on this thing so far. This is the base of it. It's made out of some kind of plywood here. It's just stuff that I had lying around the shop. Probably some form of like yellow pine or something like that. Could be oak. I'm not sure. I kind of told my client exactly how much it was going to weigh, or kind of a gist or a good idea, and he was okay with it, weighing like 10 pounds or so. It's still pretty light. The overlays here, these are all different half-inch, three-quarter-inch pieces of MDF that are just overlaid on there and glued on both sides, and then this part here is beveled. What I was actually doing before starting with the stream here is this handle is way too wide, so I have actually got to go through, and you can see where I measured here that I'm cutting into the middle 1 inch, and I was just kind of measuring out the MDF that I'm actually going to lay over that. It's going to be the half-inch. So I'm going to go ahead and put the camera back up so you can actually see what I'm doing here and get to work. Also notice that I'm wearing an apron for once. I normally like to, except for I had lost mine when we moved, so I have not been wearing it, and I just recently found it, and it makes me happy. Whenever working with MDF, I hear this stuff has like formaldehyde in it, so you definitely always want to wear a respirator. Shit's bad for you. And of course, as per usual, safety glasses as well, which fortunately, while Dezzy was in town, sorry we couldn't do the live stream last week, we were having some technical difficulties. But while Dezzy was in town, I finally got some better fitting safety glasses that work better with my respirator. Since this isn't exactly a work table, this is just kind of a fold-out table, I'm just going to take a couple clamps and put one on each end over here just to kind of hold it in place better. I might do a C-clamp on that end there instead, get a better grip on it. And since I have to do this on both sides, I'm just going to go ahead and cut double the length that I actually need. And then I'm going to go ahead and chop that in half. I've already got those 2 points measured out here. For the end here, because I am using a circular saw, for this longer cut, I'm just going to use a jigsaw for this cut here. Just makes it a lot cleaner right there anyways. So, and I'll probably get right up to that edge and finish it up with a jigsaw. This way, I'm not cutting more into this material than I really need to. I'm a cheap bastard. It's what I like to do. And also, in the past, I have muted my microphone. I haven't quite gotten that figured out on this. I've kind of gotten to where I turn off the microphone, but I can't turn it back on afterwards. If you have any advice on that, normally we're streaming through Dezzy's computer, but this week we're doing mine. And it always helps to plug in your tools. They work better that way. It's going to be a little wider than 1 inch, so I'm not too worried about. I'll try to let you know when is a good time to turn down your volume there, just because I suck at muting shit, apparently. Sorry, did I say I was going to warn you? I kind of might just kind of prepare for it. My bad. Go ahead and mute that if you want. One of the fun things about circular saws, which I can show you in just a second, is that their blades are, of course, round. So when they're cutting, it's cutting through the top part of your material. Think of this as kind of the blade here, since I've already got a circle cut out. And this is about where it actually ends up cutting here. Is about, say, about right there, or there-ish. But you'll notice that the top of the material is getting cut through more than the bottom part of the material here. Okay? So basically, I'm cutting through. This part up here is already cut through all the way, pretty much. It's already kind of gotten through. or this all the way back here has been cut through, but you still got this little bit here, which is why I'm kind of creeping up on it, just getting about that close-ish, and or about like this close right here, and then I'm going to finish off the rest of it with my jigsaw, and this kind of ensures that it's going to be nice and right up on it. Oh yeah, and that's my smoke detector because it's kind of an asshole. It's very sensitive, which is why I usually do a lot of cutting outside. It'll turn off in just a minute. But here we have a nice handle. 2 parts of one anyways. This is the 1/2 inch stuff here. Hang on, I'll be right back. So I think I might have finally found the mute switch on this thing. Hopefully it actually worked. So I had to run out and grab a fan real quick. It's gonna help blow the air out of my garage here. All that smoke and shit. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now with this is this end of it was kind of angled here because I measured based off of this right here, the part at the very shortest part of the angle. So I'm going to chop that off and then chop off this in half here. And then I'll probably do some initial beveling on it, which just makes it easier to round it off in the end. And kind of go on from there. I could actually go ahead and do the beveling and stuff now, which I probably will go ahead and do. This just makes it a lot easier for me later on. Go ahead and move a thing or two. And get to where we can actually see my belt sander. Hello. So you might can kind of see it here. I was just kind of creating a little bevel here. It's not quite rounded, but it's more of like a couple of bevels in there. I'm going to go ahead and I did this side a bit more than this one here. So I'm going to go ahead and take my little palm sander. This MDF sands pretty easily. The reason I'm not just totally rounding it yet is just because I really don't want to do that until I get it on the material or on the base, and that's just because then I can actually get the shape in there just right, and if the base layer overlaps, which it probably will, just a little bit, not gonna lie, then I would rather that I can get it flush with this because I'm still shaping this part than risk actually screwing it up. And because this sands so easily, I can just take a little palm sander this thing. It's pretty easy. With the Dremel, this material just flies away. Sprouts wings and flies. Gets the hell out of Dodge. See, it's a bevel. It's a bevel rather than being just rounded off. I'm also not making my bevel crazy steep. I might have been pointing at the wrong side. I was! Yeah, this side's the beveled side. The other side you can kind of see is a little bit rounded here. That's just because of how I work on the belt sander sometimes. I'm trying not to make it too crazy steep because I like the thickness here. So I'm not going to try to shave off much off of this top layer here, but at the same time I'm not trying to make this circular or cylindrical. I'm trying to make it more ovate. And the reason for that is because with it being circular, a sword has a chance to turn on you a lot more, especially with a large one like this. This goes back to my ideal of I like to try and make it more real-worldy, and circular blade handles on a blade like this are not
very real worldy for that reason. So that's why I'm kind of making this an ovate handle here, because it still makes it comfortable to hold and gives you more control over it. Makes it appear more like a real weapon. Paw Patrol typically does not care for this approach. I don't think so anyways. But I do. And I'm the one making the product. My clients paid for it. And that is how we do things here at Game That Cosplay. We're just going to do this to the other side. We'll go ahead and mute this time. Hopefully it works.